trying to give an example of working with unconscious people while being conscious. Today, just because you're aware and awake and conscious doesn't mean that you can't bump your head or misstep when you're doing something that your body doesn't necessarily do automatically. You're going through a job with procedures and steps and things you have to pick and move and touch, and they're all levels of mathematic equations to the such a deep thing. If this is pushed that way, this box falls this way, this thing can go on the conveyor belt and spin us, you know what I mean? So those kind of things can happen, whether you're conscious or unconscious or anything like that. So, today, rushing around doing a bunch of stuff at the job, I bumped my head and I said, oh man. And I went, and I said, the stuff we do for money, just trying to make a light little joke about it. And the lady that was working next to me goes, yeah, but we, money makes the world go around, And I'm like, not actually. I'm like, the world goes around without money, and it has for a long time. That's a very conscious way to look at it. And she goes, oh, but, other than that, you know what I mean? And I'm like, no, it's more of a psychological factor that wasn't here for all that long. And it's a psychological factor that we've grown up used to and can't think of the world without it. And I'd rather live without money. And some people, when you just disagree with them, it automatically flares them up into anger. And that's what started happening. And then I don't know where or how it went from talking about what we do for money, and her saying that money's necessary, money makes the world go around. And I say, no, cruel people who run other people's lives use money to get things done in the world the way they want them, and the world would be going around in a much better way if we didn't have that kind of structure. And she's like, well, then what would you do if we had a drought? And I said, the same thing I would do if we didn't, because money doesn't make water appear. If people cared enough, they would do things to find means of water or find means of getting things accomplished. They don't need the money. It's just we've worked into a situation in our lives where we are required, somebody's got to give us something in order for us to do something for anybody or anyone. Like, nobody will do something because they care. They do something because they want to benefit from it. Me, I'm not trying to benefit from anything. I'm actually only doing the stuff I do because I have to. Otherwise, I'd get put in jail. I'm at that point now. I'm at the point where I have no reason to do anything with my time other than help the people that I care about. And that's everybody. Doesn't mean that when a person loses their fucking cool and goes nuts on me, then I'm just going to be like, oh, loving. So basically saying this thing about money and saying how money doesn't make the world go around, whatever. And she's like, well, it's just, and I was like, but, I'm right and you're wrong about it. And I'm not trying to disagree. It's like, money doesn't make water appear. You have to get that. And she's like, I just don't give a fuck. I'm like, what? And she was like, well, that's the case, is I just really don't give a fuck when it comes down to the money in the water. I was like, so you're just saying that, you're right, even though you might be wrong, and you just don't give a fuck. And she's like, yeah, I just don't give a fuck. And I'm like, well, you're allowed to do that. And she's like, if you've been through what I've been through, you'd understand. I was like, oh, I've been through a lot. I'm not trying to sound like a big guy. Death means nothing to me. I've died. I've seen everyone I know and every person I don't know slaughtered horribly. I've done it. I've been it. I've experienced it. So then she goes, my daughter was shot and killed, and she went off about it. And no one can tell me that, they haven't been through the shit I've been through. They haven't been through the shit I've been through. And I was like, I've been through things just like that and more. But I'm not trying to compare with you because I see your emotion. And she's like, yeah, fucking, and she just started going off about swearing about what she's been through and what no one else has ever been through, and I don't know shit, and I'm just stupid. So I'm like, I'm not going to let people talk to me like that. So I stand up for myself. I'm like, I've been through more than you've ever fucking imagined. And then she's like, don't talk to me. You better get out of here. And I'm like, listen, I'm just trying to do the job, and I'm not just going to let you talk down to me. That's literally what I was trying to say. And she was like, just don't talk to me. Just don't talk to me. You just don't talk to me. I don't want to hear another word from you ever. You never say another word from me ever. And I'm like, does any of the bins need, don't ever talk to me. I'm like, well, about don't ever talk to me. And she kept doing that like a child. And she's like a grandma, So it's one of these kind of things where age is nothing. Immaturity runs deep in all ages, in all people, everywhere. And because I brought up a thing about money, and somehow I disagreed with her, she went on to the factor of her daughter being killed and got mad at me about that. and then started screaming at me around the building. And then some dude that I don't even know, who's never talked to me, came over and like, shut up and get to work. And I'm like, dude, I didn't do anything. I'm actually trying to apologize to her for her making herself mad. Like, imagine that. So then some other guy comes over, and we were just talking about something completely different. And the guy that said that earlier was like, shut up and get to work. And I'm like, I'm working, dude. And who the fuck are you to tell me who I can talk to? Shut the fuck up yourself. And I'm like, I'm not trying to be rude to people, but this is the I don't know, the unconscious level of stuff around me. People that just have no idea. He's like a tall, lanky guy, and he's like completely silent and always down seeming. And he's like, shut up and get to work. Like, I would snap you in half, dude. Snap you definitely in half. And like, I said that back to him, like, you shut up, dude. You don't fucking know me. And then he like shut up, because it was like one of those things where I'm a nice guy and I let people talk to me like however they want to, until it gets to the point where they're putting me down or talking down to me. And I don't stand for that. Who does? And if you do, you shouldn't. Start standing up for yourself. So I guess, long story short, the moral is stand up for yourself, even if it causes you to get in an argument. It's one of those kind of things. Sometimes you have to argue with people who just don't know any better. And maybe sometimes pissing them off or getting to the point where you have to kick their ass might be exactly what they needed. You know? Think about that. Till next time. Peace.